I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I got cut off in the last video. I just wanted to finish it off with this second part, and just want to say that, you know, to finish it off, Aragorn in Lord of the Rings is such a lovely example of what healthy masculinity is, and the fact that so many men acknowledge it, but for some reason, I don't get why they don't want to replicate it. That's the thing that's kind of confusing for me. But ultimately, I just think that there are just many beautiful examples, if we dare to look, I guess, because let's be honest, we see more examples of toxic masculinity than healthy masculinity, so it's something that you're going to really have to look for, but it's work that the men have to do. It's not the woman's job to do this work for the man. The man has to do the inner work on himself. And then, of course, taking it a step further, you need to allow God to come in and heal you and set you free and deliver you, and you need therapy. You need therapy and you need deliverance. And another thing I wanted to comment on is that many Asian countries have a really big problem with incel culture. And that needs to be addressed, that needs to be unpacked. And I know that that comes from the fact that Asian men have been made to feel like they are less desirable than other men. And so there just comes a point where you have to stop allowing other people to decide for you who and what you are. You got to make these decisions for yourself and stop letting other people do that for you, because when they make those decisions, I guarantee you what they decide for you is not going to be good. And so I just wish that men in general, I genuinely think that the things that I said in the last video, it's not just going to help Asian men. I think it will help Asian men in general. It's not for me to teach men how to be a man, because I am not a man myself. But I do speak on things that I do myself, and if I've wanted to be a better person, and if I've wanted to improve in certain areas of my life, I got to do the research, I got to do the work. I've had to get healed and delivered and set free. I'm still on the journey of getting healed, delivered, and set free. I've had years of therapy. Still getting therapy. Still. Healing is a lifelong process, and you got to treat it as such. You have to treat healing and deliverance as something that you have to continue doing. You don't just get to a certain point and then stop. This has to be lifelong. And so, men not feeling good about themselves has created incel culture in many Asian countries, to the point where Korea had to create the 4B movement. The Korean women had to create the 4B movement. I'm not going to go into details on what that is. Y'all look that up. And it was created to combat violence against women. Unfortunately, many in all societies on some level have problems with violence against women, children, and girls. And that stuff needs to change. I'm not saying that these societies were they like this before colonialization. Humans have a fallen nature, so I can definitely guarantee that a lot of these cultures were more than likely like this before colonialization happened. But colonialization didn't make it better. It definitely made it worse. But it's not an excuse, and I really hate hearing men use colonialization as an excuse. It's not an excuse to behave poorly. It's not an excuse to behave badly. Colonialization did what it did. It did the damage. What can you do today to fix what was broken in the past? What can you do to fix it today? And if every man from every ethnic group made the effort, every man did something to fix the damage of colonialization, imagine what type of world we would live in today. There's just no excuse to be a terrible person. And so I'm talking about Asian men right now. Don't worry, I'm gonna get around to everybody. I'm making these series addressing every group of people, because everybody needs to hear that there are things that are good about that group, but there are also things that are not so good that need to be addressed, that need to be looked at, and there are things that people need to be healed from, and in this case, Asian men, you need to be healed and delivered from the things that have been spoken over you in reference to your masculinity, because too many of y'all are out here doing crazy stuff in an attempt to try to prove that you are enough, that you're good enough, and that you're desirable, and that needs to stop. I really wish men would understand. You don't need every woman to like you. What is wrong with just working on yourself so you can just find that one good woman? But when you struggle with this area of your desirability, it has you out here thinking that you gotta be with every woman every woman walking. Men in general struggle with this insecurity, but I know that it is especially painful for Asian men, given what colonialization has said about Asian men. And I'm just trying to address it so that way, hopefully, my hope is to be a blessing and to be helpful and to hopefully inspire the men to do something else and to hopefully look at your own cultures, look at the good things, the beautiful things, and look at the wonderful things pertaining to the masculinity in that culture, and replicate the good and the healthy stuff. The negative, not so good stuff, don't repeat that. I don't know. That's just my 2 cents, and this was just me of just finishing off the last video. I really do hope this helps, and it's okay to be different. It is okay to be set apart. You all have a wonderful rest of the week.